Hey, this is Ubaid from Globe Life American Income Life. I'll be explaining your benefits through your local IBW today. Is Mercedes there? Okay, perfect. Please take a seat where I can see both of you because this is really important. All right, now can I ask you what do you do for work? All right, perfect. And how long have you been doing that? Perfect. Now let me ask you, is this the first time you heard about your benefits through your local IBW and Globe Life? Did you know Globe Life is a unionized company that gives out permanent benefits for the major unions like local IBW, as well as large associations and veteran groups? It's got the fastest claim payout abilities, and one such example is the freedom of choice, which we'll talk about in this presentation. All right. Not to mention, it's got over 17 million policies in force. Okay, more than any other life insurance company in the country. All right. Now, Globe Life family and companies, they issue more life insurance policies than any other company in the country. All right. Not to mention, if you follow baseball, okay, it's the official life insurance for Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers, right? American Income Life is a subsidiary division of Globe Life, all right? It's a leading provider of life accident and supplemental health insurance, okay, in the United States, Canada, and New Zealand. It offers supplemental life insurance to labor unions, credit unions, and associations. Okay, in case you don't know, supplemental life insurance is an additional life insurance policy to enhance or extend coverage beyond an existing one. All right, now, because of the financial reputation and strength that extends beyond high customer satisfaction, okay, innovative lead programs and customer referrals is the main reason why union members they choose American Income Life for benefits. Okay, let me share my screen with you so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me know if you're able to see my screen. Okay, on the left-hand side, you have a bunch of unions. On the right-hand side, you have the Labor Advisory Board. Now, the job of the Labor Advisory Board is very important because their job is to advise and make recommendations as to where the gaps are in your benefits. Okay, and when I'm done, they have you fill out this report card, okay, that tells you that I've been here and done my job. Okay, now let me ask you this. Do you get very involved with your local IBW? Okay, do you go to the union meetings? Were you at the meeting when they went over your permanent benefits? You do read the newsletter, don't you? All right. Now, since you haven't been too involved lately, I'll back up a bit and fill you in on what's going on. All right. Give me 1 second. Now, you might have received a letter from your local IBW. Okay. And this letter basically explains why we're meeting today. Okay. They have a meeting with you for three reasons. Okay. Number one, the local police needs your help and they want to give out these McGruff booklets to all the families with kids in the family. Okay, number two is to explain benefit package your local IBW and Globe Life qualifies you for. And number three, the most important reason why we're meeting today is I'm going to go ahead and see if you actually qualify for some of the permanent benefits that your local union and Globe Life offers. All right. Now, what they mean by temporary and permanent, your temporary benefits, they go away when you retire, when you change your jobs, so on and so forth. Okay, however, your permanent benefits are there for you to claim, are there for you to take advantage of. All right, are there to stay. All right, so that's why they've set up permanent benefits. Okay, for you that fill in all your gaps you don't have. Okay, through your union or work. So whenever you change jobs or retire, you get to take these with you. All right, and they don't expire. Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay, next is your AD&D. Okay, this is your $2,000 AD&D. Okay, this covers you when you die in any type of accident. Okay, it's non-contributory and non-participating, which means you don't have to pay for it. And you already qualify. Covers you for the loss of organs. Okay, let me share my screen with you again. Okay, let me know if you're able to see the screen. Okay, so this is your AD&D policy. All right. Okay, this is a $2,000 AD&D certificate that AIL will provide. Okay, and this is what's covered, okay, under that certificate. Okay, so you're covered for life, both hands, both feet, side of both eyes, one hand and one foot, one hand inside of one eye, one foot inside of one eye. All right, now, apart from that, okay, I'll be emailing this certificate at the end of the presentation for your records. Okay, does that make sense? All right, perfect. Now, before I share the next document with you, let me ask you if you have any children. Okay, now the next document I'll be sharing with you is your no-cost child safe ID kit. All right, one moment. All right, so this is your no-cost child safe ID kit. All right, and okay, they're endorsed and approved by the International Union of Police Association. Okay, are you familiar with Amber Alerts by any chance? All right, perfect. Now, police and the communities are searching for over 2,300 children each day and over 800,000 children each year, any given time. So when unprepared, it can take up to 4 hours for the cops to collect the information needed to put out an Amber Alert. Okay, that's a 4-hour search radius in every direction. Okay, even more frightening is the fact is that a lost child isn't found within the first 24 hours. There's a 93% chance they won't be found and won't be found alive. So, okay, Dodge, can you see why these child safe ID kits are so important? All right, perfect. So the first page is where you will add the updated photos of your child, okay, as he or she grows. Make sure you write the child's age under the photo and the date the photo was taken. All right. Help the cops find the child faster as they will have an accurate picture as to who they're looking for. And like it says on the first page, make sure you update the child's photo every year. Okay, try to update pictures on special occasions like holidays, birthdays, and school events. All right. On the second page, okay, so this is what you're looking at over here on the left-hand side. Okay, you've got the photo, got the child's photo. Okay, make sure you write the child's name over here. Okay, as well as the date when you complete this kit. All right. On the second page, you have personal information like your child's name, okay, birthday, height. Okay, make sure you write these in pencil because obviously as your child grows, okay, this will change. All right. Now, apart from that, you also have any unique remarks, okay, or unique marks on the body of a child. Okay, so let's say you've got scars, any tattoos, anything of that sort that will help the cops find this child. All right. Apart from that, we'll also be collecting DNA sample. This is where you'll attach a hair sample of the child. Okay, and further down, you have fingerprints. Okay, so you'll get the fingerprints from the child for identification purposes. All right. Now, apart from that, okay, um, and we'll move on to the next document. Okay, and this is your AIL Plus card. Okay, just give me one moment. Let me share my screen with you. All right, so this is your AIL Plus card. Now, as you may notice, it gives you 20% off prescription eyewear, including frames, lenses, and specialty items like tints, coatings, and UV protection. All right, and this is from Lens Crafters, by the way. All right, now, Okay, all you have to do is show the membership card when you make a purchase to receive a discount. Okay, does that make sense? Also, the best part about this benefit is that your whole family can use it. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Okay, the next document I'll be sharing with you is your will kit. Okay, you do have a will setup, right? Okay, so this is your no-cost will kit. All right, so this is your no-cost will kit. Okay, everybody wants to have their will set up to protect the future of their loved ones and their assets, but getting a will set up can be a complex process. It can also be very expensive. In fact, the cost of a will in North America can be anywhere between $940 and $1,500 per individual. Okay, just to give you an idea, most people have a beneficiary for their bank accounts in the life insurance policy, but very few people have a will set up to take care of their children and the loved ones they leave behind. Okay, so that's a will kit. It has all the instructions to complete the document. Also, it's going to take you through step-by-step instruction required to complete the last will and testament. Okay, you'll start off by typing information about yourself and your spouse. Okay, next you will type in information about your children and guardians. Okay, so you've got yourself and your spouse as well as children and guardian. Okay, give me one moment. All right, so this is your last will and testament kit. This is where you'll type in information about yourself, such as your first name, your middle name, your date of birth, your last name. Okay, information about your spouse. Okay, whether this person is single, married, divorced, okay, so on and so forth. Okay, and further down, you have information about your children. Okay, first, middle, last, date of birth, so on and so forth. All right, now apart from that, okay, you will also need to type in information about guardians, executors of the estate, okay, charity gifts, alternate beneficiaries of your will, burial, and cremation requests. Okay, once you have all the information typed in, you'll need to go to the website at the back of the will kit. Okay, so the website, okay, this will be this website over here, canadawills.com/willkit, and you'll type in the promo code. Once you type in the promo code, okay, you can download this will kit. Okay, it's finalized. Okay, once you have 2 signatures on the will kit, it will be finalized and notarized. All right, so once completed, they will email you back a finalized and notarized copy of your will. Okay, print it off, and all you need to do is get 2 signatures of witnesses. Okay, we're not listed as beneficiaries. All right, now next up is your family information guide. All right, so family information guide, this is what the family information guide looks like. Okay, this is your family information guide. It works with your will kit. So when something happens to your family, you'll know exactly what to do. After you fill this out, you want to put this in a safe place at your home. Okay, there's one for each one of you. All right. Now on top is where you type in vital information like name, birthday, social, so on and so forth for yourself and your family. Okay, next is persons to be notified. This is the most important part. Now, let me ask you this. When you pass away or when you get into some sort of serious accident, would you agree that your family and your inner circle needs to be notified right away? Exactly, absolutely. So what they recommend is that you list your key emergency contacts. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So this is your family information guide. This is where you will type in your vital stats and the vital stats for your spouse. Further down, okay, persons to be notified. This is in the event of an emergency. Okay, you will need to type in the name of your family members, as well as coworkers, friends, neighbors, so on and so forth. Okay, now let me ask you this. When you pass away, when you get into some sort of a serious accident, would you agree that your family and your inner circle needs to be notified right away? Absolutely. So they recommend that you list your key emergency contacts where I told you. Okay, and give me one moment here. Okay, next is your financial institution information. Okay, you want to list your banking information here because when you pass away, someone in your family has to close your accounts. All right, so this will be your financial institution over here, your bank, okay, your checking, accounting number, routing number, so on and so forth. Okay, moving forward, do you have life insurance as part of your work? All right, so make sure you write down any work insurance, such as health, medical, and life insurance in pencil so you can erase it because this is temporary. Okay, if you qualify for permanent benefits, you can write those down in pen because they cover you forever. Okay, does that make sense? Perfect. Now make sure you write the expiration date as well. Okay. And further down, you have your social media accounts. Okay, so if you want to type in the legacy contact, this will be the person or beneficiary of your social accounts, as well as your recovery email address and username and password for each of these accounts. All right, further down, you have instructions for funeral. All right, so, okay, you have the option between cremation, burial, and mausoleum. Okay, either way, it's very expensive. Okay, remind me before I go, part of the program takes care of all your final expenses, but you'll still need to qualify for that. Okay, finally, you'll need to type in information about the name and location of the funeral service and cemetery, along with the location for the certificate, so your loved ones can access it. All right, do you see how important this guide is? Exactly. Okay, next I'll be talking about the sponsorship program that American Income Life offers. Okay. Okay, so because you're a member in good standing with the union, they're allowing you to extend the same no-cost benefit package to the people in your life. They're going to help you out when something happens to you. All right. Now they're going to be receiving a $2,000 AD&D, okay, vision card, family information guide, will kits, child safe ID kits of their own. Okay. However, they do need to qualify. Okay, they have to be over the age of majority, which is 18 in Ontario, and they should be a resident of Ontario and a responsible adult, which basically means they can't be in any trouble with the law. Okay, does that take anybody off your list? All right. Most importantly, we need your permission. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the benefits for everybody on this list. You know, it's really obvious that the people you sponsor know that you're able to do this for them. Okay, it's very important. Okay, so what I'm going to do is plug us into a group text. The text is going to do two things. Number one is going to act as an electronic receipt that's going to entitle them to receive and activate their benefits. And number two is going to let them know that you're able to do this for them today. All right, give me just a second. I'm going to send that text right away. All right, now do me a favor and respond to that group text and say thank you. All right, now, since you're not familiar with the permanent benefits they set up for you, I'll back up a bit and explain. Okay, they've asked me to read this letter to each of the members. Okay, now that paragraph is really important because what they're saying is that they know that you've benefits through work and they fully expect you to have benefits outside of work. However, what they realize is 31 days after you change jobs or retire, you lose all your benefits. All right. So what your union president did was negotiate permanent and portable benefits for all the members. So now, as long as you qualify, these are benefits you get to keep the rest of your lives. Okay, you see, that's the reason they were chosen to do the program for the unions because they realized that typically 31 days after you leave your job, got laid off, or retire, you lose all your benefits. So they're greatly reduced. Okay, these are permanent and portable benefits, and if you qualify, you get to keep these for the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Right. Now, just because you're a member in good standing with a local IBW doesn't mean you're automatically allowed to enroll. Okay, you do have to qualify. If you're too high a risk, they can't let you in. Okay, that's the reason why they've asked me a couple of questions just to make sure you don't mind. Okay, so number one, do you take prescription medications? Okay, number two, have you ever had any health issues in your lifetime? Number three, do you use tobacco, marijuana in any form? Okay, number four, have you ever had any arrest, including DUI? And number five, do you have any health issues in your family? Okay, now, based on what you've told me, I'm not sure if you're qualified yet, but you do have a chance. So I can at least explain the benefits to you. Okay, the needs analysis works out needs based on three things. Number one is family situation. Number two is benefits you have. And number three is income. Okay. Now, through work right now, you do have the basic plan, right? Right. So I know you said you have some life insurance outside of work. Most members have somewhere between 500,000 and a million. Which one are you closer to? All right, perfect. Now, are you familiar with the hour power philosophy? Okay, now the hour power philosophy is an old union principle that says that members should take the first 1 or 2 hours of their weekly wages and set it aside to protect themselves and provide for their family's future. Now, 1 or 2 hours of your wages each week is roughly 1/40th of your income, right? That's not going to change your lifestyle, is it? Okay, so now you may have a financial planner who would tell you to set aside 15 to 20% of your income. However, your program is based on 1 or 2 hours, which is only 2.5%. A good example is that if you get sent home early one day, I'm sure you don't complain, right? Exactly. There's still food in the refrigerator, the lights are on, everything seems to be okay. It also works out the other way, like when your boss offers you an hour overtime. I'm sure you don't turn it down, right? Exactly. I mean, after all, it's not like you're going to take the extra hour on your paycheck, go out and buy a new car, right? Or a new house or anything like that. Exactly. So, this is the reason why they've set a program that way because they know it's not going to change your lifestyle at all. But what it does do is that it provides protection for your family when they need it the most. Okay, does that make sense? All right, perfect. Now, provided you can qualify, they allow you to set aside between $20 and $120 a week. Okay, why such a big range? Well, because every member has a different situation and different hourly wages. What I'm obligated to do is show you what setting aside your 1 or 2 hours combined will do and what kind of protection it will provide. Okay, then when I'm done, they would like to have your opinion on this report card that goes directly back to them. Is that fair? All right, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is show you what setting aside, okay, so and so will do for your family. Okay, just like in any other enrollment period, provided that you can qualify. There are forms that need to be filled out together today while we're on Zoom because not something that you can do later over the phone. Does that make sense? So make sure you stop me anytime you have questions. Is that fair? All right, perfect. So they're concerned with three major areas. Number one is accidental injuries. Number two, funeral and final expenses. And number three is paycheck protection. Now, accidental injuries, the first area they're concerned with is when you're injured in any type of accident. Have either one of you thought about what you will do when you get injured in an accident? The Labor Advisory Board and Globe Life have given it a lot of thought. Okay, their concern is not that your medical bills won't be taken care of because you have health insurance or OHIP. Okay, when it's job related, then workers' compensation is there. And a lot of members have some form of disability protection. Okay, what they're concerned with is lost wages and other expenses that start adding up. Okay, so when you end up in the hospital, even though your medical bills are not taken care of, no one pays you to be there, right? When you get that phone call, obviously you won't be working either. So you'll be by his side and vice versa. Okay, so God forbid something happens to any of your children. In that case, nobody's working, right? Right. So when you or your partner or any one of your kids get hurt and have to go to the emergency room, they're going to send you so and so for taking the time to get the injury looked at. All right. Now that's for any kind of accident, whether you scrape your knees, need stitches on or off the job. All right. This money gets delivered to you at home. Okay. The only exception to that is when you have to stay overnight in the hospital. Okay. They're going to send you so and so for up to a full year. That ends up being so and so dollars a week. Now, let me ask you, when that money comes in, will that help your family? Of course it will. The only exception to that is when you have to stay in intensive care. Okay, this time they're going to send you so and so for up to 2 full weeks. The reason why so and so a week is because usually when you're in intensive care, it's a life or death situation. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. Now, the second area they're concerned with was your final expenses. Okay, now, Honda, who's going to be responsible for taking care of your funeral and final expenses when something happens to you? If you remember earlier, I had to ask if either one of you ever had to plan a funeral before. Okay, the reason why I asked you that question is because it's a very serious problem. Okay, the concern is not the fact that we're going to die, because we all will. Okay, but when we die, someone in our family has to go down and face a funeral director right away. Okay, and funeral directors these days require all or bulk of the money up front on the spot before they start doing anything. Did you realize that? Right. A lot of people don't. So while your family is waiting for life insurance coverage to kick in, who has to take care of things in the meantime? Right, the family. They either have to take money out of their savings account or even worse, borrow it from a bank or a private lender. Okay, does that make sense? Perfect. So now what they've done is set up a freedom of choice certificate to take care of your final expenses. If you qualify, each one of you will receive your own certificate that just, okay, it looks just like this. Now they call it the freedom of choice because it's good at any other funeral home. Okay, the way this works is when something happens to you, your family can take the certificate to any funeral home you choose. And when the funeral director looks at you and says, I'm really sorry for your loss, funeral is going to be so and so. How would you like to take care of that today? At that point, all you have to say is so and so was a member of local IBW and Globe Life and had the freedom of choice. All right. Now, in your case, they've set aside so and so to take care of your funeral and final expenses. What's not used at the funeral home gets sent to the beneficiary. Okay. Now, each of the kids are covered for $10,000 freedom of choice that can be converted to 50,000, 50K at age 21, regardless of their health or habits. Okay, which they can keep the rest of their life. Now, let me ask you, isn't it nice to finally have this taken care of for your family? Exactly. Now, when you pass away in your working years, you'll typically be in some kind of accident, right? Exactly. So when something happens to you in any type of accident, not only will they immediately take care of your final expenses, but they're going to send your family an additional so and so dollars to help out during that time. Okay, when we die in an accident, what kind of accident will it be? That's right, a car accident. Now, in that case, they're going to send an additional so and so plus take care of your final expenses. Now, when you're traveling on a common carrier like a bus, plane, or a train, they will send additional so and so, okay, to your family. Each of your children are covered for the same accidental deaths. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, does that make sense? All right, perfect. So the third problem they're concerned about is your paycheck. Okay, let's say you're on your way home from work and you get killed in a car accident and pass away from a stroke or heart attack. Okay, is your paycheck going to keep coming in to support your family? Of course not. Your paycheck disappears just like that, right? Let me ask you, how long is your family going to survive without your income? Exactly. Depends on savings you have, and you have to factor in your funeral as well. So the total savings just keeps getting smaller and smaller. But on the other side, taking care of the family, putting food on the table, paying the bills, all those expenses stay pretty much the same, right? Right. Now, before I explain you a typical situation at this time like this, remind me again, you have life insurance at work or outside work? Okay. Now, here's what happens in a typical situation. When you pass away, your family immediately has to start dipping into those lump sums. Firstly, they'll dip into those lump sums for reimbursement of your burial and miscellaneous expenses, and then to cover your paychecks when they stop before or after you pass away. Now, your family has to keep dipping into your savings to pay bills and put food on the table. And guess what happens a year or two later? That's right, it disappears. So here's your paycheck protection, how your local IBEW wants to look at it, your readjustment income. Okay, what they're going to do in your case is when you pass away, they're going to send your family every single month for up to 24 months, okay, for any cause of death. Okay, now the reason why they chose at least 24 months, okay, is because your family needs a decent time to adjust. Okay, a couple of months is not enough. So, Dodge, when something happens to you, they send you and your family that check every month that will give your family time to adjust. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. Now, your family will be in a position so when this does happen, they can take the money they receive and get it invested for their future, their children's education, and retirement. Does that make sense? Perfect. Now, the money you set aside each hour, okay, does build an emergency fund. Okay, after 3 years, if things ever get tough financially, there will be some money to help take care of your program during that time so you don't lose it. There'll also be paid up benefits. So when you retire, you can stop contributing to the program and get a reduced paid up final expense benefit for the rest of your life. Does that make sense? All right. Have you ever thought about what you will do when you're diagnosed with a terminal illness? Right. Now, American Income Life put a lot of thought into it. In fact, they realized they're going to need a lot of money. So when you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, not expected to live more than 12 months, they're going to send you half the final expense and paycheck protection. Okay. In your case, that will be so and so. Okay. You can take that money and do whatever you want with it. Some people go forward with their bucket list, others travel the world or take a vacation. Okay. The other half will come to your family after you're gone. Okay. There is a strike and layoff clause. So when you can't lose your program. Okay. In fact, in the case of a union strike, they'll take care of your benefits for up to a year. You don't have to pay it back as long as your policy has been active for over 90 days. Okay. Now, Dodge, even if you can't work just one day because of a strike, they'll take care of your benefits, not only for a week, but for the entire month. Okay. And for layoffs, as long as your policy has been enforced for 60 days, they'll waive your benefits or premiums, rather, excuse me, for up to 3 months. And you don't have to pay it back as long as you get a signature from the union official or employer to verify that you're laid off. And not to mention, as an added value, the waiver applies to all the policies in the household. Does that make sense? All right. So benefits are guaranteed and non-cancelable, which means if you qualify, then no matter what happens in the future to your health, age, or habits, no one can ever take them away from you. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Now, I've showed you what setting aside 1 or 2 hours will do for you and your family. Let's review it to make sure it's clear. Okay, your accidental injury benefits are there for your family. Your freedom of choice certificate covers you and your family for any cause of death and is there until it needs to be used. Your paycheck protection and all your protection make sure no matter what happens moving forward, you don't lose your benefits after today, even after you change your jobs, get sick, or move. Okay, again, you can see why these benefits are very important to you and your family. Now, my job is to explain the benefits and help you get enrolled in the benefits that you qualify for. The best part is they set up your benefits like a payroll deduction. Okay, but they do it once a month through your own checking account because they're under your control, not your employers or the union. Does that make sense? All right, let's face it. We're all going to die. We don't have a choice. Either we deal with this right now, or someone in your immediate family will have to deal with this when something happens. All right, now before we get started, you'll have to answer some medical questions to see if you can even qualify. But probably the most important question I need to ask you is when something happens to both of you, let's say in a bad car wreck, it'll be a little over so and so. Who do you want this money to go to? Okay, how do you spell that? All right, perfect. Now, it doesn't matter, doesn't make a difference to them which program you try to qualify for. What most members try to qualify for, they're 1 or 2 hours combined, which I went over with you. Okay, some members ask if they can do more and set aside more for their family and double their benefits. It's just harder to qualify for. Sometimes members choose a more basic program just to get started, knowing they can upgrade down the road provided they still qualify. Okay, which way you want to go? Okay, the basic or do more? All right, now even though this is a comfortable amount for you, doesn't mean that you're automatically qualified to get enrolled. I still need to ask you 33 medical questions, okay, which you just need to answer yes or no. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. Now, the first thing that will happen is American Income Life will call you within the next 7 days. It's a verification call, verifying the information you provided to me today. Okay, they may ask if I was courteous. Hopefully you say yes, but they also will ask you to sign virtually, okay, which you already did. The second thing they will do, okay, they may send a nurse to do a blood or urine specimen. Okay, it's at your convenience and no cost to you. And the third thing that will happen is American Income Life will be requesting your doctor's medical information. Okay, if for some reason he takes too long, I will call you to help speed up the process. Does that make sense? Now, during the underwriting process, 3 things can happen. First is you can be approved as outlined today, and that's the best news. Okay, second thing that can happen is they can be rated based on some habits or medical information given to them by your doctor. For example, because you have blood pressure and you're still smoking, they may charge you a few extra bucks a month. And if that happens, take it because it's better than being declined. All right. Now, which brings us to the third thing which can happen, which is it could be declined. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be rated or declined. I'm just saying this can happen. If it does, we'll cross that bridge together. All right. About 6 to 8 weeks, American Income Life will come up with a decision in regards to these benefits. If you have any questions, contact me and I'll answer these questions you may have. All right. Now, the first payment will come out in 1 to 5 days as you're covered under the conditional receipt. Okay, that just means as long as you're honest on your application, you're fully covered as of now. The policy is not just final. Okay, the policy is just not finalized for 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so that's how long it takes to get your medical records to confirm everything is accurate. Now, if anything happens, you can do up the claims. We can do the claims to get you paid for your visits to the hospital for injuries. They won't just pay them until they receive the medical records and policies finalized. Now, this is one of the most important folders, okay, you have here at home in making sure your family is taken care of. Okay, you may not use this anytime soon, so even in 20 years from today, but at some point someone will have to use it. So if you cancel it and let it go, it can't do its job properly and it can get into a lot of trouble for not setting up a program that fits your budget. So if it becomes tight, okay, if it becomes tight financially, call me. We can always lower it down because this is comfortable for you to set aside. All right, great.